Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel, Watercolor Painting in the Afternoon. I'm Beth, and today I don't really feel like doing anything that I have to think too hard about. So I thought I would do a quick winter scene and make it something that's really relaxing and enjoyable and fairly easy. I wanted to do some stretched out shadows on a snow-covered landscape. So the first thing I want to do is make sort of a horizon line. There's a little bit of a sweeping horizon line right here. Let's do that. And there's going to be a little bit of the sun is going to be right here, down low on the horizon. And we're going to have trees coming up this way. And I'm not going to plan them too much because I really don't want to have to think about it an awful lot. What I'm seeing, I'm just looking at a picture. It says relaxing winter wallpapers from the Wallpaper Cave. And I'm just going to go ahead and wet my sky down. We're going to do this in some stages and just make something that's very relaxing and not terribly time consuming and exacting, and you got to get it exactly right here and there. I just wanted to do something that would relax me today and allow me not to have to think. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to overthink, so I'm going to try not to do that. So I'm using some of my watercolors here. This is on this side of this palette I have mostly gouache, and on this side mostly watercolor. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with this using maybe both. I don't know. I'm just going to play with it. This is a cerulean blue. And we're just going to put a light blue sky in, not terribly dark, because it's just in the background behind all of these trees. And if I make it too dark, then the trees themselves will not, I won't be able to put white snow on them. So you just want to keep this fairly light. And then right around where you want the sun, don't put any blue color at all. So that got really dark really fast. Okay. Just bring it up there, and we're just going to fill in this way, but you see I'm leaving the center there white. And what I'm going to do is take my brush, really get it nice and wet it and clear it out. And we're going to pull that out. And this is very subtle. I'm not doing this so that you see all these rays, because they're really going to be behind the trees. This is a subtle effect that I wanted to do to make that sun look like it's really radiating outward. Alright, let's let that dry. Come back to it in a few minutes. Now that we have finished that part, I'm going to add just a little bit of Jaune Brilliant to the sun, because I just wanted that little hint of gold back there, and I'm putting it in very quickly and very lightly because I don't want to turn the sky green. And Jaune Brilliant has a little bit of yellow in it, and it will turn the sky green. So then on the snow in front of the sun, we're also going to use a little bit of Jaune Brilliant. The thing about Jaune Brilliant is very opaque. So you could, if you mess up and don't put it there, you could always add it later. It's so opaque. Then I'm just going to streak a little bit of blue, and again going really fast so that I don't mix it together and make green. Here I'm using my small Hake brush. It's just, usually you make backgrounds and things with it, And what I'm doing, indeed, is making kind of a background. I'm fiddling around with white gouache, with a bit of purple and with blue, and I already started doing this and I forgot to click record, so sorry about that, but I'm showing you now what I'm doing. I just kind of wet that background, and now I'm tapping in some blues and purples, and this is going to be sort of the frozen limbs of the trees. And I know you may be thinking, no, it looks more like the sky, but I think once I get the tree trunks and some of the branches painted in, it will appear more like the frozen background of these limbs and of the trees. So it's got to be a kind of a purpley blue color that's going to make that look like it's all covered in ice and frozen. Just about done with that part, and I'm pulling down maybe just a hint of where the shadows are going to go on the snow. I was not trying to paint those shadows in quite yet, just a little hint of how they were going to go. Just dotting it in and playing with the purples and the blues. And you just have to kind of play with your paints and play with the colors. This is all done in gouache, but you can do this in watercolor. The reason I did it in gouache was because I started playing with the gouache and then I just kept playing with it. I didn't, it's really, I'm using such a light wash of it. It's so transparent in this particular case that it's, it's like watercolor. But anyway, you use whichever one you have. Here, this is a number 4 round. And I'm going to use it to paint in some of the trunks of the trees. And I'm using black gouache and a little bit of cerulean blue in there with it. I didn't want it to be a flat black. I wanted it to have a little bit of dynamic color. And since everything in the winter seems to take on kind of a bluish hue, doesn't it? That's what I wanted to do. And this is a fairly thick tree trunk, so I'm gonna start with a thin line and then add to it. This is rough paper, so you'll see some of the paint skips, and that's perfect. I want it to do that, so you can kind of pull it down and create a dry brush effect depending on how wet your paint is. If you do it fairly thick, then you have a better chance of getting that dry brush effect. If you do it really thin, you're probably not going to get that. And either way is fine. I just was delighted that I got that dry brush effect there. And then putting in some more trees and just pulling them up. You can probably hear my husband talking in the background. He's on the phone with somebody. And some of the tree trunks, of course, are going to be really thin and spindly, and others are going to be thicker. And you just want a variety. That's all. You just want to do a nice variety of trunks. Get an idea of the forest that you're doing. And here I took a little bit more jaune brilliant, and I'm placing that jaune brilliant just along the right edge of those tree trunks. Why? Because the sun is coming through and is shining on the right side of the tree trunks. This is something that if you're going to paint a landscape, you need to always remember where your source of light is coming from. Make your shadows agree with that source of light. Make your highlights and your the places where the light's going to hit it, make that agree with the light source. And just be thinking about, where's that light coming from? How is it hitting the objects that I'm painting? And here I'm going to, you can see here that I have painted some of the tree trunks a darker gray color and some of them a lighter gray color, because not all tree trunks are the same color. And you can tap in loads of different colors into a tree trunk, and it's just going to look more and more interesting. Because if you go outside and you observe trees and what they look like, you'll see green growing on them, you'll see gray, you'll see brown, all kinds of things. Now, another thing you may notice that I'm doing is I'm breaking up the lines that I'm painting for the branches and for the trunks. I'm breaking them up so that it looks like some of that silvery, purpley blue behind the trees is actually in front of the trees. Also, when the sun is bright like that and you're looking directly at it, it does appear to break up some of the smaller branches and tree trunks, so that if you were looking at that with the naked eye, which you should never do because you're looking straight at the sun, but if you were, it would appear to you that the sun was breaking up part of the what should look solid, because it's so bright that it actually those light rays wrap right around the object and make it look like the object has almost disappeared. Now here I am making the shadows on the snow, and to me this was the fun part, because we're looking at where the sun is, and of course the shadows are going to be angled away from the sun. But since we're right in front of the sun, as we come closer to being straight in front of it, the shadows as well are going to come and be straight, just like the ones that you see that I've painted here. I don't know what happened to that clip. I lost that clip. I don't know. But you can see just how much I have left it, some parts of it skipped over, and it looks kind of like there are parts of the trunk that are missing. Yeah, that's what I did. Did that on purpose. And here we're just painting the trees on this bank of snow to the right. Mostly slimmer, smaller trees. And actually, I think in the picture that it was multiple pictures that I was looking at, not just one, but in the pictures that I was looking at, we had a lot of different sizes of tree trunks, and some of them, in some of the pictures I was looking at, there were little shrubs and things like that, and I just decided to pick and choose out of the pictures I was looking at what I wanted to paint. And that's something that you can do. You don't have to just choose a picture and go, well, I'm just going to paint this picture. You can choose elements out of lots of different pictures that you're painting and enjoy painting all of those things in. Now here's the bank of snow that's kind of in the shadows, so we're going to paint that a nice deep purpley blue. And then of course the tree shadows themselves will come down from there, and they will stretch out to the right. Okay, so that you have this kind of a fan shape on the ground. The shadows make a sort of fan shape that follow the light. This is a great practice for practicing how to do shading and shadows. I was talking right there, I don't know what I was saying. Putting in just a little bit of a horizon line back there. Try to make that look like there's a little field in the, behind those trees, that the earth doesn't just fall off right there. I'm not a flat earther, y'all. I don't think that the earth falls off at any specific point. although I sometimes think that I fall off of it. And here I'm just painting a little bit of a very pale yellow right into the middle of that sun. It just feels to me like there needs to be a little color, and I'm pulling that out so that you can kind of see the rays going this way and that. It was a very, very subtle effect, and one that you don't have to do at all if you don't want to. If you're afraid of messing it up, that's my fear constantly. I'm just gonna screw this up. And then I did something I wish I hadn't done, and maybe I can talk you out of doing it too. This is white gold paint, and yeah, I thought, well, I'll put a little sparkle in the trees and on the ground because it's snowy. And it just ended up, if the painting is not exactly in the light, perfectly in the light to make it shine, then it just looks like I painted gray blobs all over the trees and the ground. And just don't. If you know, of course you can if you want to. I'm not standing in your way, but I think it was a mistake. So that's the way that goes. And I'm almost done with this painting, and I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to you. I hope that you're having a lovely holiday. I know that this can be a very difficult time of year for a lot of people. My mother passed away on Christmas Eve, nearly 26 years ago, but it always makes me have a moment and to pause and to think about her. And it was a hard Christmas. And I know that some folks are by themselves this Christmas, and that makes it really hard. Know that you're in my prayers. Know that I'm thinking about you. And I am praying that you find some joy in the day. Even if your day is spent quietly by yourself, I hope you find some joy in it and some beauty. Lift up a prayer for all of those who are by themselves this season, or who are grieving this season. I know several people who are grieving this season, and it's tough, makes it difficult. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'm gonna hush and finish up here in just a second, and I hope that if you have gotten this far in the video, please give me a quick thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to answer comments that you may have. Enjoy your holiday, and I will see you soon.